Yeah, just from the beginning of the game, kind of start with how the game started, unfolded. Didn't think we started very well. We just didn't fit some things up very clean that we should have. Credit to those guys. I said leading up to this game that I thought they were probably the best O-line running back combo we'd probably seen all season. It really blew my mind when you looked at it statistically. Like you guys mentioned, the points they put up against Missouri. They had over 400 yards of offense in most every single game. They'd had some inconsistencies at quarterback. So going into the game, felt like they were a really solid offense. We just didn't start out very well, as you guys saw. And then what I was really proud of was the way our kids fought. Obviously, red zone defense was a huge part of this win for us. How we played. Now, a lot of that was self-inflicted that they were even in those situations. But, we had a 4th and short stop. We had the turnover on the first drive on the 1. That was a huge play. I thought those were key. They missed a field goal down there. I thought when you look at the positives, just the ability to make them earn the whole field, I thought we did a really good job of that for the most part. I thought our effort was really good. We played 100 gradable snaps on defense, but a large part of that was us not helping ourselves get off the field. We knew they were going to be aggressive on 4th down, and we shot ourselves in the foot on a lot of long yardage situations. Just base stuff that we got to get back to getting cleaned up on the coverage aspect of things this week. We didn't execute very well. We felt like going into the game, if we matched the effort and the physicality and stayed on top, we felt like 3rd downs were going to be huge. They hadn't been great on 3rd down. We've been pretty good on 3rd down. That was the area that I was really disappointed. In particular, the 3rd and long. They hit us on a couple empty 3rd and medium conversions early in the game. Did some things different, and we didn't fit it up quite well. We were more playing the pass in that situation. And credit to their coaching staff, we adjusted to what we got there. But really, it was just 3rd and long defense. And then when we came in at halftime. I really liked the look in our kids' eyes. I felt like we were going to come back. We were going to respond. I believed we were going to win the football game. It felt a lot like UAB to me. I didn't know how it was going to get done. I felt like we were the better team. We just had to keep fighting, and our kids kept fighting. We had a couple guys. Duran, Story played over 80 plays in the game. Played well. I thought Ralph Rusens played phenomenal. He was our defensive MVP. I thought he was dominant on the inside. Thought it was his best game. I thought, the one big run that hit was on one of the D tackles, but outside of that, I thought, and it wasn't just on him alone. A couple other guys got to make it right, but I thought our D line played, really well. In particular, Trayshawn and the D tackles. Linebacker wise, I thought it was probably our cleanest game against the run. Our coverage drops at linebacker at the Mike spot in particular really hurt us. So we got to get that fixed. Corners didn't have a lot of action. We got to make some plays in those key situations when we get them. The interception that got overturned by D-Lo, I see why they called PI there. And nowadays we just it's tough playing defense. The benefit a lot of times I feel like at times goes to the receivers, and we got to play a little bit cleaner right there, and that's a game-changing pick. But I thought Duran played really physical. Was proud of how he stuck his face in there, which he's a physical kid. We need him. We need that from him. Safety-wise, thought we did some good things, and we thought we left some on the field too. Obviously we had 2 opportunities there late to have a couple more picks that we didn't finish off. So a lot to get better at, but the big thing, you're not going to play your best every week. Would I have loved to have held that team to 300 yards? Do I think we're capable of that? Yes. But sometimes when you get hit in the mouth, a lot of it's about responding, and so to have the game we had the week before to come out and respond like we did, really in the second quarter, because in the second quarter we were backed up, quite a bit. There was we had the shanked punt situation. I can't remember if that was the second or the third quarter there. There was a couple short fields. I mean, their average starting field position, first quarter was the -42. Second quarter was essentially midfield. And then the third and the fourth quarter, I thought our special teams and offense did a great job helping us too, because the field was flipped. They started on the -20 and -22. So I really feel like that was the key to the game. I think there were 8 to 10 plays when you look at it. Unbelievable play by Malik to throw the ball outside the pocket, man, just unbelievable. And then you follow that up with their third down conversion to CJ, and then the get open backyard football play. I mean, all those things. You couple that with Scruggs' pick, with Ahmad's fourth and short, executing that call right, just great for the quarterback for us. So, a lot of things ended up going our way. We made enough plays to win, but we do got to play better as a group. I think we have to be more disciplined. The unsportsmanlike penalty is inexcusable. It was addressed. We got to be better, and I think the guys that have made those mistakes in the past have owned it, but we've got to, as a defensive unit, all be accountable to do our job. It's 11 guys on the same page, and too many times, because one guy isn't doing his job, somebody else tries to make up for it, and just trusting that everybody's going to be where they need to be. And so, as coaches, I think we have to hold our guys more accountable. We have to be more disciplined, just overall as a unit, and I think that is going to cost us if we don't make that change. And so we talked to the guys about today. I mean, to me, it's the little things. I really do believe this. It's being on time to meetings. It's being, it's making sure our locker room's clean. It's coming from the meeting room and being punctual to get into practice. I think all of those things add up. I really don't believe that that's just coach speak. I think when you do the little things right and you're consistent and disciplined with it, those things show up on Saturdays. So, we're going to hold our guys to that standard. I'm going to be really hard on them this week, because we got to be better in those areas to play better defense, and we can play at a higher level than we've played the last 2 weeks, and we've shown that this season. So, but with us getting some guys banged up, nicked up, hot game, 100 snaps, I did think the positive was how our kids fought through it. Thought we played really pretty hard, minus 1 or 2 plays, and made enough plays to ultimately win the football game.
Scott, how were those guys feeling yesterday and today after playing so many snaps?
I think they were sore yesterday. Like I talked a story today. I mean, here's the thing, Damian. I mean, to be a pro, you've got to approach it and you've got to take care of your body. And so I think, what you're learning, what you're seeing is the guys that have that approach, that understand how important eating is, how important sleep is. All of those things add up. So a guy like Story asked me, he's like, Coach, I felt fine. I lived in the training room yesterday. I'm good. And he was locked in and engaged. And that's what that's the mentality we got to have as a group. So, him and D-Lo and probably Trey Sean, I think, probably played the 3 most snaps. Trey played like 77 snaps and only had 3 minuses and played extremely hard. So, we gotta rest up. We gotta get healthy. We're done with them for today. We just got off the field in meetings. So, they got to do academics today, rest up tonight, and get ready to go for another week, because this is a better UMass offense than we've played. In the past. I mean, they scored 28 points against a P5 school, so obviously that shows you. I think Coach Bell's done an amazing job with trying to be being multiple, giving you whether it's polecat formations, empty formations, +1 runs, with an athletic quarterback, playing 2 quarterbacks. So it's a lot for us to prepare for, and our guys will have to be ready going into this game.
I asked Coach Freeze Saturday night after the game about, what did he learn about his team going through the adversity of last week and then falling behind by 2 scores and bouncing back and coming back to get the win. I'll ask you the same thing. What do you think you learned about your defense, going through some of that adversity, coming off a tough loss, you issuing the challenge to them during the week last week, and, then, the first half didn't necessarily go how you guys wanted it to, but being able to fight through it and come back in the second half and get stops when the offense was finally able to get some things moving.
Yeah, I think it says a lot about the leadership that we have. I think we have a really good core group of leadership on defense. D-line wise, Trayshawn, Ralphs. I think Akil's a really good leader. Scruggs on the back end. I think we've got Ben Alexander. I think a lot of times, Ben's a guy we never talk about on here. Ben's a guy that, he hasn't played a lot of snaps this year, but, is as important to this group just because the energy and the positive aspect that he brings in our locker room every single day. And he's a guy that, Coach Curtis and I want to get on the field more. And just because I trust him, he's so accountable. And so I think when you look at some of those guys like that, that there's a strong group of core leadership. It's just, I think when you're in that situation, it's human nature after the loss that we have to want to point the finger at somebody else. It's my job, it's our job as coaches, first and foremost, to take ownership and accountability, and it's their job as players to own the parts that they could do better. And so I think for the most part as a group we did that. And then, I think we've been in the fire a lot, so it's not like we haven't been in these situations. It's not like we haven't been down in games. It's not like we haven't played our best at times. But these guys also know that, when we play well and we're on the same page, we're a pretty good defense. And so I think just having that belief in each other, but I think as a coaching staff, we got to continue to hold them accountable so we can try to avoid those situations where we're not down, scores at half. We put ourselves in position to be up a couple scores in a game like that.
Scott, you brought up Akil Washington. He seemed to play with his hair on fire these last 2 weeks, starting him with Darrell being out. And what have you seen out of his play that's allowed you to trust him to be out there and play as many snaps as he's been playing these last 2 weeks?
He didn't have his best game to start. That'd be the first drive. He was hair on fire. We didn't fit some things up right as far as our gaps, and then once we cleaned that up, I thought he definitely had a better game. The thing with Akil, so he graded out higher 2 weeks ago than he did this last game. The thing with Akil that I love is, one, he's really hard on himself. He's extremely coachable. There's never a time where Akil's he wants to learn, he wants to absorb everything like a sponge. I don't think I've ever questioned the young man's effort since we've been here. He plays with an absolute motor and an edge to him, and that's what's going to make him special, especially for a kid that is as young as he is, to have that type of maturity in an approach that he has is what's going to make him really good. So there were some things that he's got to get cleaned up, and I know how he is, and I know he'll be hard on himself because he wants to grade out like Trayshawn did, and he's capable of it. He did it 2 weeks ago. So, I really trust him as far as the effort, the physicality, the approach, the mental attitude that he has every day, and I just think he's becoming a really good, consistent player for us. So excited what he brings to the table, and we trust him to leave him out there. He plays hard. Why would we take him off the field? If it's a 15-play drive, we might have to get some guys off the field, but he's a guy that plays with a high motor every play.
Now you guys turn back home, and you got UMass this week, and a team that struggled to win some games, but as you mentioned, they scored 28 points against Boston College earlier this year, and outside of that game, and maybe a couple others, they struggled to put some points on the board consistently. What are some challenges they present for your defense this week?
I think they have good skill. I think they're deep at wideout. They have some length at wideout that I think poses some problems. I think running back wise, the transfer running back, at least from Rutgers, I think is a really solid running back. It makes them dynamic. Like I said, they play two different quarterbacks, so you've got to you got to be able to have a plan. You got to be able to adjust. The offense changes a little bit with the quarterbacks in the game, but it's not like Wildcat. The guy can still throw the ball. It's just obviously he's in there more to run it, but you've got all the the running back pops, the make it look like quarterback run, get the ball to the back. Obviously, you'll probably get a little more boot, sprint out with an athletic guy in there. So you got to have a plan for both those situations. Number 12, the starting quarterback's a tall guy that can distribute the ball. And so I think they've got I think they've improved their roster tremendously from when we played them our first year to now, on offense in particular. I mean, there's games, Florida State, I mean, is pretty good. I mean, they've got, decent players. So I think you look at it, same thing with Pittsburgh. But, I mean, Boston College is a good ACC team. They were, a upper middle of the road team last year. So for them to put up 28 points in a game like that, put up points on Eastern Michigan, they've scored some points, in some of these games. And so I do think they're doing a really good job on offense. I think they stress you in a lot of different ways. More so than maybe they have even in the past. So I think for us, John, I really want to focus on us getting better in the areas that we need to improve this week, regardless of who we're playing. Not, obviously we've got respect. They scored, 30 points against a P5 team. We know they can score 30-plus points against us, and they're good enough to beat us, So, but we also want to focus on making sure we're getting better fundamentally, not letting those things slide. And that goes back to just the accountability aspect that we want to hold our guys to, the rest of the season.
Scott, you brought up the accountability, and Scruggs went to Coach Freeze last Monday before the team meeting and asked how he could be more accountable on Saturdays, and Coach told him be accountable Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday during the week in practice. And have you seen an uptick in that and guys being more accountable during the week of practice so they know they're being held accountable Saturday in games?
Yeah, I think it just comes back to, as a coaching staff, making sure we're holding our guys to a consistent standard at every single position, making sure we're coaching them hard but loving them, and our guys understanding that, it's like the old adage, if a coach isn't coaching you, he doesn't care. Like, we are coaching you because we believe in you and we believe that we can get more out of you. We can do it a little bit better. And so not just get caught going through the motions, understanding that it is a process. And the key thing in that process is how we prepare each week, respecting each opponent. We respect each opponent by how we prepare Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I tell the guys Saturday is their day. I firmly believe this. No matter how bad a guy's playing, I don't ever want to coach on defense talking crazy to a player, yelling at a player during a game. I just don't believe as a player, what good does that do at that point? That's going to do nothing but kill my confidence. It's our job to coach them Monday through Friday and be really hard on them then, okay? On Saturday, that's their day. So at that point, we've either coached them well enough and we can make adjustments to get them right, or we haven't, okay? So it's our job to make sure that they're prepared going into Saturday, and on Saturday, it's their job to make plays. At some point, as a coach, it's our job to put them in the best possible situations, but players have to make plays to win games too. And so, it goes hand in hand. So, like I'm in the box when I talk to the backers during the game, we're making corrections and we might screw something up that cost us. But I'm not going to yell at a guy. I don't expect, Coach Hundley to yell at a guy or chew a guy. We got to get something fixed. I believe Saturday is their day, so we got to speak life to them on Saturday. We got to build confidence. If something's going wrong as a player on Saturday, I don't want to coach. If I'm a player, I don't want to be jumped. That's not going to help my confidence. It's, hey, let's get this fixed, and we're going to move forward. And so what, next play? We got to get it cleaned up. So I just think as a coaching staff, us being consistent with that, our kids being able to respond to it, and then hopefully that builds confidence come game day.